Well, how's it going? How's it going there, David?
Good, good. Yeah, episode 9.
Episode number 9. Yeah, it's been it is well. When this comes out, it'll officially be SkyWars week.
Yeah, I'll be driving as soon as this airs. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so people will be listening to us as you're driving there and stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I want to hear more about this little project you got going on at home. Like you've been digging up your front yard and you've been doing all this work. Like, what are you doing over there?
I'm digging a pond.
Just like a fishing
Yeah,
pond?
like a koi pond. It's like I don't
Okay,
know, eight. Was it 8 by 13 by like 4 foot deep? So
okay,
we have to get below the frost line here.
yeah.
So yeah, it's annoying, but whatever.
Into the whole
Yeah.
fish thing, or just decide you want to have a koi pond?
No, I've had koi for a long time. They've actually just kind of been in like a stock tank. So
Okay,
finally officially digging the pond.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
just
Ed, how's your summer been going?
yeah,
It's going good. Good to be back with you guys again.
Yeah,
yeah. Appreciate
get
you
a chance
coming
to get it.
back.
Yeah, get
I'm gonna go with no.
no.
No,
On the road and busy.
yeah,
If I'm lucky, I get a round of golf in here or there.
Yeah, absolutely. All
yeah.
right. Well,
How about you, Donnie? We just pyro.
just pyro stuff, getting prepped for some of the SkyWars stuff. Obviously, here in Kansas City, we're Chiefs fans, so I've been at the game so far this season. So if you've been following the football, I mean, Chiefs have won a couple games.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what this week comes up with. Yeah, that's gonna be
Yeah,
interesting.
Sunday night against the Falcons this week, and then obviously SkyWars week they'll have another big game that week too. So by the time
Yeah,
you hear this, they would have already been through week 3, I guess.
yeah. Probably gonna get smacked by the Falcons.
Yeah, they had a good comeback their night. So
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
yeah.
but
All right,
yeah.
let's crush.
All right, let's hit this intro and get the show on the road.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Pyro Unleashed. Tune in weekly as Donnie and David discuss all things pyro, from the business aspect of the industry to technical tips and mesmerizing pyro designs. On Pyro Unleashed, we invite cutting-edge experts to the podcast to discuss their role in making this industry a success. So, sit back and unleash your inner pyro with us.
All right,
And there it is.
now we're officially number 9.
Now we're officially number 9.
Officially number 9.
Yeah.
And we have our main season sponsor this year, Cobra Firing Systems, Cobra and
Yep.
Ignite. Again, they got CobraCon coming up here in April 10th to 12th. Opportunity if you're into Cobra or Pyro, go out there and check them out, get more about Cobra Firing Systems and obviously their smaller backyard unit, the Ignite, which
Yeah.
there's been a lot of new stuff I think coming out around Ignite, and they've made some upgrades and some firmware updates there as well recently. So
Yeah.
um,
Control panel too, and
yeah, the new control panel, it works a lot better than the old version, I will say. So, but I think you have to be on
yeah,
six
it looks
one.
good too. Really.
Yeah, I think you upgrade to 6.1 to use the new control panel. So,
Yeah.
kind
Yep.
of keep that in mind out there. But yeah, it's been looking good.
Yep. Yep. Perfect. And then obviously, Dominator sponsorship. We really appreciate that. You guys, Ed and everybody over there, you guys have been pumping out quite a bit of product. How do you guys? I mean, I guess this is all kind of prelim, but how did the season go for Dominator this year?
The season went good.
Good.
I think probably a little better than the industry average.
Okay.
Sales are down, and everybody's still adjusting from the COVID years. I think, especially those who decided to just get into it in the last few years, and
Yeah.
it's been maybe a little eye-opening for some of the newer people in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. What were some of like the determining factors that that are determining that, Dominator did better? I mean, obviously numbers, but were there anything that kind of showed that, maybe fireworks are kind of gaining more traction, or anything of that nature?
No, I mean, this was a middle of the week, Thursday, 4th of July. So
Yeah.
organically, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even Monday, I think sales are going to be down 12 to 15% on a national average.
Yeah.
And then you've got the whole weather thing in there. And it was really rang true with a lot of people we surveyed this year. There was a lot of people wondering, where are the customers? Where are the customers? Until July 2nd or 3rd or 4th. And then they made up, and in some cases, then some for the sales. So it was a little slow out of the gate this year on the retail side of things, but most people were down just a little bit, which is to be expected for a midweek 4th of July. On the flip side, we've got a couple weekends coming up. 25 and 26, with 26 being the 250th anniversary of the United States. And David, I know you just got back from NFA. We saw tons of, product already being developed and dummy samples for that because of that lengthy process, the development process, getting the orders, getting it manufactured and shipped over here in time. So we're already looking at 2026 from this side of the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys were already, correct me if I'm wrong, you're already suggesting that so that 2026 100 or 250th birthday product, like you guys want it in production for the 2025 season. Am I correct?
It's time to order it now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
it's crazy.
and just real quick, so everybody who may not be watching or maybe just be listening, tonight's episode guest is Ed from Ed Vasel from Dominator Fireworks. If you want to know more about Ed, he was on season 1, episode 1 with us.
Yeah.
And so feel free to hop back if you want to learn more about who Ed is and where he came from, where he started. And we kind of skipped over that a little bit tonight, just hopped right in.
Just kind of jumped right in it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody kind of knows who we got out here. And so again, thank Ed for coming on and talking a little bit about the fireworks and stuff like that. And so while we're here, Ed, so what are some events and stuff that you have been to this season?
Yeah.
Oh geez, I think one of the first ones is CobraCon.
Yeah.
Then we try to hit as many of our customer demos as we can. But I tell you, as soon as 4th of July passes, it all becomes a blur because you've got PGI, NFA, APA, SkyWars. I know I'm missing more than one event in there. It's on the road a lot for about a 3-month period.
Yeah. So everybody knows that, Donnie and I are not just blowing smoke. It's absolutely crazy. So if we skip an episode.
And there's more events every year popping up. Now we've got.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And for a marketing budget, you try and work off the beginning of the year. Okay, this is what we've got, and we want to support as many of the people and users in the industry as we can. And, I just found out this year about the Oklahoma group is having a Sooner Skyfire Showdown, I believe is the name of their event. And then there's a group in Texas that reached out, and but they reached out just recently, so it's hard for us. We wish we could participate in all of them, but start over again at the first of the year and attend and support what we can. It's really, but even 10 years ago there was only maybe 3 or 4 things that you could find to attend outside of regional club get-togethers.
I do feel like this year has just been pretty astronomical with the amount of events. I mean, if you're not going to one, you're missing 3 others, or if you are going to one, you're probably missing 3 others. So it's just insane the amount of events. I mean, it's good for the industry because obviously it's bringing more production to the Chinese side, which helps grow businesses and everything. More brand awareness and whatnot. So, it's never bad to have more events, but it sure is exhausting trying to get to every one of them. So, but
all right. So we just kind of came obviously from PGI just here recently. How do you think PGI went this year?
I think PGI was a success. I'm not as closely tied with the inner mechanics of the PGI as I am with some of the other organizations, but we participated in the trade show, and then we had some guy we'd never worked with before, gave him a shot at doing the national anthem for us, and we got okay feedback on that. Great job, Donnie.
Yes.
We were very pleased with that, and the biggest issue was I take full blame for that one number difference in an item number, but somehow it almost ended up perfectly where the left side of all those
it almost it was cool how it actually worked out as well as it did. Yeah.
And the crazy thing was, like, in the moment of the show, I didn't even realize it really until afterwards. I kind of went back and rewatched it, and I'm like, wait a minute, there really was a difference in those minds when Ed was asking me about it. And I was like, because in the moment, I didn't even hardly even notice. There's so much stuff going on. Then once you watch it in the videos, you can't unsee it at that point. Once you see it,
Right.
That's the problem with going back and rewatching it is it ruins it because then you start to really dissect. It's a double-edged sword, right? You can see what you did right, you can see what you did wrong, and you start.
What percent of people that were there that night do you think noticed it?
Yeah, the average person probably didn't even notice it. I mean, the people that would notice it would have been your more hardcore pyro people. They noticed it, obviously, but I don't think the average person.
You scripted it. It was your baby. It was our product. So obviously, we're our own worst critics.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be a fun fact to know. Did 10% of the people that witnessed that realize that? Or,
yeah. It would be interesting to find that out.
Yeah. And then I know at the trade show, you guys played some games. You gave out some merch. Did anything come out of the trade show that was new or cool or fun or anything like that for you guys?
PGI, we go to more support it and work with, we try and work with someone like yourself every year, give them an opportunity, support them through product donations. It's not a big business convention compared to NFA or APA. So we really go to support the customers that we know are there and just be a part of it.
Yeah.
And then you guys always do on that last night, do your Dominator dollars, right? Like you go around, you find people, you give them that money. I don't know if you want to share or not, but how much money do you guys give out in Dominator dollars at these events?
This year, I'm pretty sure we gave out $1,205. I think is what it ended up being.
Nice, nice, cool.
And the first one was given out way before the Dominator dollar started that night because as we were, that bridge coming across to the shoot area there.
Yeah.
There was I don't know, she was maybe 7 or 8 year old girl out there on a little pink bicycle, and she had a flag wrapped around her neck, and she had her car flags taped to her bicycle, and I wasn't going to drive past her without saying thank you. So.
Yeah.
That's cool.
What brought about the Dominator dollars? Like how did that start and when?
I'm going to say I came up with Dominator dollars at least 10 years ago. We've been doing it for 10 years, if not more. But, we give away probably 2,000 t-shirts per year at a minimum.
Yeah.
And PGI is usually the first event that we hit, that we get those out. So it was just a really good way to get everybody wearing the gear and all the merch that we give out. It's neat to see, hundreds of people wearing them on Friday nights in the stands, and it gives us some exposure in front of the public as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a really good, again, I kind of go back to the whole brand awareness thing, but it's a really good way to get the general public to see it, get everybody, wearing, your merch, and that's really, it's really awesome to see.
Yeah,
so
we may have to redo last year's promo. The Pyros, the shirts. I don't think. Yeah, the shirts with the eagle on the back. Those were probably our most requested shirt.
Yeah, those were one of my favorites.
Yeah.
This year's was good. We did my favorite color is freedom this year.
That
one was pretty popular.
I really like that one too. Yep. So, and then obviously we just got back from NFA. What were your thoughts on the overall experience at NFA? Obviously, you're pretty big role in the board and everything. So, how do you feel like it went? You kind of want to start off by giving
being on the inside, I see all the little fires that got to be put out along the way. But I think for myself, and I think for the majority of the vendors, the attendees, that it was a very successful trade show and expo and product demos, and it is a lot. That thing is a monster to organize throughout the year.
Yeah. What were some of the key takeaways for this year, being at the event? Just even throughout the week.
So Erie, Pennsylvania has always been great to us. This was our third time at that venue, both the Bayfront Convention Center and the Lake Erie Speedway. AJ that runs the Speedway over there is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Couldn't treat us better. It is one of our better shoot sites.
Yeah.
Just the way that it sets up. Unfortunately, I think the prevailing winds aren't always in our favor there, it seems.
Yeah.
But we can't do anything about that other than try to move stuff back and be safe about it. Obviously, we maxed out the convention center this year,
Yeah.
so we're already in talks with them about trying to create some more space going forward because it is not an uncommon thing, especially if you go to some of the bigger trade shows in Vegas or the Toy Fair in Germany and things like that. Not only is the trade show not all in one room, it might not even be at the same address. It'd be in multiple buildings. But I know there was some people that weren't happy with their trade show booth location this year. It was just kind of the nature of the beast. And it's not even one of those things that you can just say, okay, well, first come, first serve, we'll start populating the floor, because you have rows of so many booths, and let's say somebody takes 7 booths, you've got 1 left there. At some point in time, you've got to go back and put this jigsaw puzzle together to fill every single booth.
Yeah. And I know we were kind of on the outskirts, but as long as, I think really it was weird. I think in the hallways it was a lot busier between the hours of say 9 and 1. And then once the main portion of the trade show picked up, the hallway kind of shut down, and everybody went in there. And I feel like it was kind of nice because then it gave everybody something to do, from 9 to 5 or 9 to 4. I'm sorry. So I don't know. It was kind of nice because we still were getting the traffic from all of the meetings and such from the convention rooms.
Yeah,
So,
we're definitely taking all the feedback that we can and look at ways that we can improve the event every year going forward. Obviously, the demos, everybody agrees, too many demos. It was too long, so we'll take a look at that. Do we just cut back on the amount of demos? Do we add a night to the convention next year? There's several options that we're going to look at.
Okay.
How many vendors do you guys have at the NFA?
The actual number of vendors, I don't know, but we had 204 trade show booths, and it sold out. And I believe we had 60 demo companies.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we had over 1,000 registered attendees on site in Erie last week.
Yeah. So I did a walk around on Tuesday, and one of the comments that was brought up is, well, it looks like there's a record number of booths. So did that play a role, obviously, in the record attendance? Was there like a lower or higher number of actual attendees versus, people with the trade show booths?
We haven't pulled that data yet. We
Okay.
can get that, and
Okay.
we may push that out in a release to our membership.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to know what is the ratio of actual buyers versus sellers at the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's tough too, because a lot of we're all somebody's customer in that building
For sure.
at some point or another.
Yeah.
It's largely a business to business convention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I know you started talking a little bit about 2025 for NFA. What's kind of next for the for NFA and the association, and we want to talk about where it's going to be at and the dates for next year.
So you can plan out the NFA for the next as many years as you want, because it will always start the Monday after Labor Day.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
NFA used to start the week of Labor Day, would run Tuesday through Saturday, and was one of my suggestions even before I was on the board, is Labor Day weekend is one of the last big selling holidays for some of our members who are in resort areas and things like that.
Yeah.
And if not, then it's the last family holiday of summer for a lot of people. So
Right.
they're either, traveling, taking their last vacation weekend for school starts, or their first vacation of school year. So we just decided to move it back a week.
Yeah.
Next year we are in Rogers, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas. It's right next to Bentonville, the home of Walmart.
Okay. Yeah. Very good.
That's a close one for me too. I might have to be worth to make a trip down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a few hour drive probably.
Yeah. If we drive down that way, it's not too far for us, so that's cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. So.
And I believe a block of rooms was released at the convention, and I know those are sold out. So they're working on releasing the next block of rooms already.
Wow. Very good. Very good.
Now, do we any idea maybe any new regulations or anything new coming or any recommendations coming from the NFA that maybe came out of this convention, or maybe something that maybe in a future meeting you see coming up that might be of use to us in the business?
So this year we had both the ATF and the CPSC do presentations for us, and CPSC is working on a new manual entry program that's going to be a big change in the way the importers have to record their product that they're bringing in, and we are working closely with the Consumer Product Safety Commission. We've had a couple of meetings on them just on that subject. So we're going to do what we can to try and make that as smooth a process as possible for our members.
Yeah.
We're in constant contact with the ATF. Our Government Affairs Committee does a great job there. Just set up a meeting today where you've got a meeting coming up with PHMSA. So yes, we're almost daily doing things on the regulatory side. One thing that we are trying to do a better job is getting in touch with the state level officials.
Okay.
And we had some really good interaction with the local and state fire officials up in Erie. They were both in attendance at our convention for multiple days.
Yeah.
I got to meet some of those gentlemen, and I've already sent some follow-up emails to them to stay in communication with them and keep those lines open.
Very good. Very good. So I know one of the bigger topics that I heard was the factory.
The factory scoring on CPSC?
There you go. Yeah, sorry. The factory scoring. What's up with that? And can you tell us a little bit more about how that's going to work and whatnot? So
I attended a presentation at our conference last week, and I think it was maybe a little overcooked, the factory rating or the factory grade.
Okay.
And there was some concern, like, could an importer possibly be purchasing from a factory that has an unsatisfactory grade with the CPSC and potentially have products fail without even the opportunity to test? But we have talked directly to the CPSC, and that is not the case.
Okay.
They will be collecting data. That's their job to, try and stop dangerous products from coming into the country. So they will be collecting data on that. But it sounds like at most it could cause some sampling.
Okay.
To take place. And we've been dealing with sampling for a long time.
Yeah. So will they be releasing those scores to, the wholesalers?
I don't believe those will ever be public information.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
And a lot of this is new to us as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Perfect. Gotcha. And then obviously, while this is recording, you will be at APA. Do you have an agenda at APA, or what? I
was going through that. We was going through that today.
Okay.
Yeah, deciding which committee meetings we want to sit on, and
Yeah.
Which customers we want to make sure we get some attention and some quality time with. And there's a lot going on at APA as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you foresee any new rulings coming out of APA, and what might those be? I know obviously Articles Pyrotechnics kind of been a hot topic. It was at NFA, and I don't know if what you might think is going to come out of APA this week.
I really don't.
Okay.
We don't crosstalk a whole lot with the APA. We're trying to open doors there and work together, and especially on any matters safety. We took some steps last week and had a good meeting and some conversation to maybe start working with the APSEF program that they do.
Yep.
And there's no reason for us to rewrite any safety work that they've done. So we'd much rather jump on board and support anything that we can align with them on.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And David and I had kind of talked a little bit in our last episode a little bit about the possibility of salutes being removed from Articles Pyrotechnics. Any thoughts on if that would be something that we're going to be looking at likely, or where are we at on that, you think?
All I've heard is there was talk of it. I think they were talking about dropping the 6 grams per tube down to maybe 4 grams, or 3 or 4 grams. I'm not sure what it was, but all I've heard is hearsay and stuff to the grapevine. Hopefully we'll get some actual solid answers on what direction they're thinking next week.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, like, even if they, and again, I'm all for the salutes. I love the salutes just as much as the next guy, but even if they do restrict that down from 6 to 4, I mean, are these companies going to be self-regulating enough? Because I mean, obviously at NFA, everybody was packing a lot of punch in their product, but some of those salutes were way over 6 grams of flash per salute. So you know how maybe this is all prelim, but how is the industry going to start self-regulating ourselves on that? It's
I think the industry's been given a chance to
yeah, I
self-regulate
think we've
itself for quite a
surpassed it.
while,
Yeah,
and maybe didn't do the best job of
yeah,
it, and that kind of got us in some of the situations we're in today at the state level,
yeah,
and some struggles for the hobbyists on how they're going to continue going forward.
yeah. Well, and then I guess that kind of brings up the next thing. So you start talking about rules and regulations on the state level. I know Illinois has already implemented where Proline is supposed to be stored in at least a DNR magazine. And I believe Missouri is starting to implement some new rules and regulations where you guys are at. So, um, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, it's yeah,
I had heard about Illinois possibly instituting some storage
they
requirements
have
that
done it.
are
Yeah,
above and beyond the DOT designation, the 1.4 designation. That's a transportation designation for the danger class of that product. So if Illinois has done that, I believe they've enacted a stricter regulation than what the 1.4 designation identifies that product as.
yeah. Which and again, I understand it, but if you want to pre-match, say a show and have it ready to go, that means in Illinois you can't do that because you can't store match and product in the same bunker, or the same magazine. So, I mean, that really starts to put a stop to these guys, being able to get shows done quicker, faster, more efficient on the shoot site. Where it's out in the public for now it's going to be in the public for longer periods of time. Potentially parks and places are going to be shut down for longer periods of time because you have to have more time for prep work. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little concerning.
Not personally not happy with the outcome that it looks like it's headed towards.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many times last week I tried to stress a point to different people and officials that, as an organization, we would prefer to educate, not eradicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to see freedoms taken away from anybody. And I have a hard time believing that any of it's in the name of safety. There's
I agree.
very few
Yeah.
injury reports with the professional use only type product. And I think we would all agree that it does not belong in a retail setting. We don't want it in consumers' hands,
No.
that have not taken any type of training on it. And that's another debate that was kind of going last week is the training classes for this stuff. Is it okay to just take an online training class? Does that make you a professional, or should it be hands-on?
Yeah.
We're leaning towards it. It should require hands-on
Yeah.
training.
How do you feel about the pyrotechnic articles of pyrotechnic class that PGI did while they were there? How do you think that kind of lends better towards the safety aspect for Proline?
I don't. I know some of the people who worked on it, and I was given an early copy of it before it was released. Glanced over it. It's all good information. It is structured well. I know the person who did a ton of work to put that together. But it was mentioned that maybe they were looking to make that available as an online course. And going back to what I said, I think that if we're going to be dealing with professional use only product, that it should require some hands-on training.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't even need to be like, hours long. I think, 90 minutes, quick, explanation, bring everybody together, show them how to set it up properly, secure it, how to e-match, how to connect compound cakes, taping, the connection fuses to the side, properly bracing and everything. And I think really, obviously down to wiring and matching and all that. But I mean, the quick basics of how to work, Proline. And then, yeah, I agree. I think at that point, when the teacher is satisfied, then they would get their certification. So. Yeah.
What else is on your minds?
Yeah.
So obviously being in Missouri a little bit, and we talk about some of the regulations that change, that are trying to kind of get pushed through Missouri. I know it's not like official, but some of the Missouri retailers are already starting to require that you have a display operator course. Is there a reason why the retailers are being so proactive into requiring that you need now to be a display operator in order to buy it? Or
Are they? I don't think they're.
they're
Are they?
requiring. So Spirit and Schneider's both require you to have a DOC in order to buy ProLine now.
I thought it had gone even a step further than that, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't talked directly with either one of them, but I thought that they were headed towards requiring a federal license.
Yeah,
Wow.
Well, right now, yeah, you could do the federal license, or you have to have DOC. So now they won't even take a PGI class anymore as being acceptable.
So there's been no restriction on who can purchase the product in Missouri.
Correct.
There's no restrictions on on how to store it, who can purchase it. But if you do purchase it, the state fire marshal says, and he says nothing's changed.
Yeah.
That's a professional use product. That means it requires a permit to shoot it. Just about anywhere to get a permit, you've got to have an insurance policy to get that.
Right.
And that's where it could really become a stickler. On the hobbyist side, which I know you guys are really in touch with, and a lot of the events that you go to and the people you have on your podcast. And we did a seminar at PGI, and someone in the crowd was like, "No big deal. I'm with," and I won't say the insurance company because I don't want to get flooded with calls, but I happen to be insured through the same company, and he's like, "I just call the person that I have my homeowner's policy through, and they write me a policy every year for me to have a private firework display." And I said, "Well, I'll follow up on that because I have that same insurance company." And I did follow up on it, and I got a big no. Absolutely not.
Interesting. Huh.
I think they might have been extending a rider through a company or something like that
Okay.
to get that policy to happen. And maybe the person getting the policy just didn't fully understand the terminology or what's happening there. They don't care as long as they paid their money and got an insurance policy to get that permit. They're good to go, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Interesting. So perfect. All right, and then obviously, again, like we said, we're going to be heading to SkyWars. I think Ed, you're potentially going to be there on Saturday. You're gonna...
Right now, there's about a 20% chance. Yeah. Right now, there's about a 20% chance I'm going to make it to SkyWars. I'd really like to.
Yeah,
I think we
okay.
sponsored they're bringing back the mass launch this year.
Yep, I was getting ready to bring
there's
that
another
up,
event we sponsored. We threw a bunch of product to James down in Texas, and he's got a crew coming up, and they're going to set up the mass launch for us and
Okay.
crackle everybody's ears off for 60 seconds or so.
Yeah, so is that what they've said? They pretty much said 60 seconds is the most that they're wanting that to go.
I think that was the guideline. Whether that was adhered to or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember
I know nothing.
one of the last times that the mass launch of Crackle was done, I think it was in 2015, and that was pretty exponentially long. I remember sitting in the valley up by the horse barn, and it just echoed and echoed for, I don't know, it felt like 5 minutes, but I don't even know exactly how long it might have been. But
Yeah.
So
It's neat for the public to see, I think. Well, it's neat for anybody to see. I mean, you throw enough stuff in the air and it's cool for at least a short amount of time.
yeah.
I'll never forget it. I think it was the second venue that event was at. Somebody had the idea to shoot 500,000 Saturn missiles or something like that. And it was just, the little plastic tubes on the ground made it difficult to walk without sliding the next day.
I'm sure it did.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
That's something else. Speaking of little plastic tubes, that's going to be looked at in the industry, and I believe is on the radar to be discussed maybe at APA next week. But all the howling tube cakes, howling to whatever, crackle, salute, brigade. Some of them are 2-stage whistle.
All those inserts, all those big old plastic inserts.
Well, those things go a long ways. And there's already been some incidents both with professional display companies and at other events. And so I think they're going to, I'm not sure, what's your guys' opinion on that?
I say double the distance on howls. That is my genuine opinion.
You cannot, I don't think anybody can agree that you can go by the tube diameter on those because what is it, a 25 millimeter?
Maybe, yeah.
by NFPA or even PGA at 100 foot per inch, you only got to be 100 or 150 feet away from the crowd for that.
Yeah.
Well, we know those go a lot farther,
Yeah.
so I think those are going to be getting looked at pretty soon.
I mean, it's the same way as like girandolas, right? Like them things, you never know where they're going to go sometimes. They go all over the place. And so it's kind of that same kind of thing. I mean, they're not very big diameter on the motors on them, but you need the extra distance because them things go a long ways too.
They were pretty well behaved at NFA. I think the only one that was an issue, luckily, it flipped upside down right away and just looked like one of those spinning helix fountains out there on the ground until it was done.
Yeah. So that kind of brings up, you're talking about inserts. That brings up the next question. So I think one of the hot items this year that everybody was trying to produce was strobe rockets. They were trying to commercialize strobe rockets. And Donnie, I know we didn't even chat about this because I actually forgot about it, but from my understanding, they were using aluminum tubes to create the rocket engine on that. And the strobe rocket, again, and I could be wrong, but from what I was hearing, the aluminum actually melts on its way as it strobes up. I mean, if that is a possibility, is that something that could potentially work its way into, the howls, or does it have to be that plastic insert? And then I guess, let's talk about the strobe rockets. I don't know if I like the idea. Like
I think they're a long way from being ready to be used in either in a consumer or a professional display setting. I mean, that was something that was built by some of the better hobbyists and builders, that we would see at different events. And the ones that I see usually did one of two things. They went a long, long ways and performed as intended, or they were a salute on a stick sometimes.
Yep. Yeah, and I feel like the composition is so unstable. That's why you have to build them on site. And to be commercially, building them, mass producing them, putting them on, just Joe Blow's container and shipping them over here. I don't know. Is it kind of like sparklers where you have to do it in a certain season where the humidity is a certain temperature or certain...
Are those available yet, David? Do you know? Are they being offered in China for export or import?
I think they are, but again, I could be wrong. I thought I overheard that somebody was buying a container of them.
Black Scorpion.
There you go. Yeah. They're ridiculously expensive, but yeah, I believe they're either here already in the States or they were getting ready to ship or they're on the water already.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had this video come up in our KCAP Discord. We were actually talking about the strobe rockets from Black Scorpion. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they were just, from my understanding, they were going up and they get right above the crowd and then they just beeline at a 90-degree every time at the NFA demos, and
wow,
it's just, yeah, that's just scary to me. I'm not like if we were to ever bring anything in, I think it would be like you only put that item on a shipping container. That way, you're not. But even that, I don't know. It's just scary. It's very. I'm not sure I'm for it yet. So.
Yeah, that's where moral responsibility comes in sometimes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Back to the howls. What are your thoughts on that, Donnie? Like the whistles and.
I enjoy them to a certain. I mean, they have a time and place to use them. Obviously, I mean, I think I would like to be able to see us come up with something that was a little more environmental friendly than a bunch of plastic tubes. Because I've been on a number of sites where you shoot them, and then you've got to go around because you're on a golf course and you got to clean them all up afterwards. Yeah, and that's not very enjoyable to go around and try to find all these plastic tubes laying around everywhere. So I don't know if there's any other alternatives out there. I mean, whether you could make them out of cardboard or plastic is just the easiest and best way you can do it. But ultimately, I think at some point you're going to find a better option at some point in the future. And obviously, I mean, distance is obviously the best thing you can do in that. I mean, we've seen plenty of accidents online of those falling over and shooting into the crowd and people getting hurt. I mean, it just happened, this summer at a pyro event. I mean, it's going to happen. Yeah, even if they are secure, that stuff can still happen.
Right.
Yeah, and like I said, it happened at a public event. I believe it was a stadium out west somewhere. So that's what has really put those things on the radar.
Yeah. It was a stadium on fire in Utah where it happened at. Yeah.
And I guess my question is, I mean, is there so much pressure in that howl that it has to be in that plastic insert and it can't be in the cardboard. I believe that's the case, and I could be wrong on that, but yeah, I don't know. It's just yeah. We always, if it's me and I'm using Howls, I always try and put them at least twice the distance, just for my safety and the viewers, the public safety. Um, yeah, it just makes me feel better about them. So
I mean,
Agreed.
do we have an idea on what the actual height are on them things? Are they things, 200, 300, 400 feet in the air? I mean, because you'd be watching those things at a show and you're looking way up in the air. They're breaking above your shells. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, and then the more sideways they go, they go, the less effect gravity has on them, and I think that distance just increases.
right, right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think they have any problem going 300 feet.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I think I've seen them shot next to a 5-inch shell, and they're pushing way up past them still.
Yeah.
So
Getting up there
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
Huh?
yeah, they're pretty exponentially high.
So I have to ask you, David. I wasn't even able to attend the demos and the displays on Friday night. I heard I missed quite the night of fireworks.
It was a wonderful night of fireworks for sure. Yeah, there was
I
a lot of really.
ended up sitting in my room preparing for a board meeting on Saturday
Oh,
morning,
man.
dealing with some issues that we had. So,
yeah.
but I know. I think we had product in a couple of the shows. I know
Yep.
American was using some
Yeah,
of our
American had a lot of product in your show, or
our
your product in
1-4
their show. Yeah.
product and stuff like that. And I hear that they brought it, that they did a pretty good job to close out the
They
convention
did.
for
There
everybody
was-
that week. But it was like what, 5 pyro musicals almost back to back. So,
Yeah, it was 5 or 6, including the national anthem. So, yeah, I mean, it was a heck of a night for musicals. I mean, they range from obviously the national anthem's usually what 2.5 minutes or so, and then uh, the one I did was 7.5 minutes, and then obviously the closer was well over 20 minutes. So there was a nice wide variety of lengths. So I walked to the back back by the 1-3 shells, and I just look in the field and I'm like, yeah, this is like SkyWars level amount of racks back here. It was
yeah.
a lot of racks.
I think there was a couple of 10-inch shells that went up, wasn't there?
Uh,
Or maybe that was Wednesday during the 9/11
to
tribute.
my understanding, there was only distance for 8s, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I know we had 12, 16. I think we had 28-inch shells that we put up. So I know there was a lot of them. But yeah, no, there was a lot of really wonderful. I think Ace did one, uh, Chuang Mei, Raccoon did the anthem, and then they had the demo. Kellner's
Kellner's
had one,
an
an
American.
So yeah, there was a lot of them. Yeah, and
Was a good night
it
of
was a
fireworks
very
for
good
the
night of
public.
fireworks.
For the public that paid to come in, they got their money's
Yeah,
worth. It sounds
yeah.
like.
Sounds like their average city backyard shows or their average city shows are going to be kind of
Yeah.
nothing.
Another good thing that I didn't touch on before is after our general membership meeting, we got approached by someone representing the Luyang Manufacturers Association.
Okay.
And there's going to be some. It was a great conversation and going to really opened up some dialogue that we'll be having with the Luyang Manufacturers Association as a trade organization to kind of just stay more in touch with them, because it certainly appeared that the manufacturers just thought loot cakes and 0336 are now legal, and we know they were visiting and calling, and it appeared on everybody's price list and just kind of trying to flood the country with them.
Yeah.
So having this open line of communication with them maybe will give us the opportunity to say, and this is just an example, that's done, but we could have communicated with them that it's not as an abuse.
Yeah. That makes that'd be really good to have that line of communication open with them, and that's awesome to hear.
And they approached us with some ideas that they had. We are looking forward to be able to provide them some feedback
Good.
in the near future on some of the ideas they came to us with.
That's really, really good. So were you able to go to every night of demo, or?
No, I was there. I believe I made Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
Thursday and Friday, I was not in attendance at the product
Yeah.
demos, unfortunately.
There was a lot.
Wednesday was pretty. The PA Pyros, they put on a heck of a show.
Yeah.
They put up a ton of product in a short amount of
Yeah.
time. But I think equally as moving was just the parade of fire trucks and
Oh, that was
emergency
just
vehicles
so somber.
that were on the track
Yeah.
and, turned their lights on and single filed out of the track. That was pretty moving, I thought.
Yeah. Single-handedly was probably one of the most moving national anthems / post-national anthems that I've ever seen and witnessed. So, it was really awesome to watch.
Big credit to Howard Fry
Yeah.
for making that happen for us.
Yeah, and the safety team out there, they always do a really good job at. I mean, even a couple times, I think maybe some product had landed right on the edge of the crowd or something, and they just shut it down, made sure everybody was safe, made sure obviously no fireworks in the infield was tipped over or anything, and then they proceeded with the demo. So huge shout out for keeping us safe. So yeah, perfect. And then let's go back to SkyWars. I know Donnie and I will be doing some recording live on site. You can check out
Absolutely.
our trade show booth. We're going to have Dominator red tent. So if you see the big old red Dominator tent, that's where we're going to be at. We'll be under that booth or under that tent, and come and find us.
I think we sold about 25 of those last week.
Do what?
I think we sold about 25 of those
the big red
last week.
tents? Did you? Yeah.
If you saw our trade show, we actually put it up on top of the tables, and it was an eye grabber. It worked out well for a trade show.
They're really, really nice.
I'm glad. Thank you for doing that, because I had every intention of having one there and giving out some goodies. But I'll be at APA in Nashville.
Yeah, you betcha. Yeah, we're gonna have that. We figured that would be good to have the podcast under, and obviously you guys are sponsoring, so we'd advertise as much as we can, and looking forward to that.
The rumor is we'll have maybe a banner in time, maybe for the weekend potentially.
Yeah, we're hoping so. Yeah.
Matt got it turned around, and he's got it going out in the mail to us. So hope it clears customs.
We have to had to fast track that one. We were a little bit late on getting the graphics to him, but should be arriving to the Airbnb I'm going to be at. So crossing our fingers, and we should be getting that. It should be getting that in time. So. All right, should we get to Pyro News and continue going on with this thing?
Absolutely. It's a little Pyro News here.
All right, here we go.
All right, episode 9 Pyro News, man. It's going to be brought to you by Dominator Fireworks tonight.
Yeah.
They are the global supplier of award-winning pyrotechnics. They're headquartered in Luang, China. And if you want to get information on importing, you can reach out to them at mailbox@dominatorfireworks.com. So I want to thank Dominator for sponsoring us. Tonight's Pyro News.
Thank you again.
Yeah, Pyro News tonight. So this is not on my bingo card for this year. If anybody had this on your bingo card, let me know, and I'll send you something. A luxury yacht in San Diego explodes in fireworks.
That's crazy.
I didn't have that on my bingo card. So apparently they were shooting fireworks off of the deck of a 120-foot luxury yacht, and it caught fire, and within 2 hours it sank.
Oh my word.
Wow.
Yeah, this is in Marina Del Rey. Happened on Wednesday night. A blaze, 120-foot yacht. There's like over $100,000 yacht or something like that. I seen on here. I thought somewhere in the story, but people were taking videos and fireworks were going off everywhere, and it had 1,000 rounds of ammo on board as well.
Oh my word.
So these people were loaded up for something. I mean,
this had to be a professionally contracted display because aerial fireworks are illegal.
right?
Right.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So the investors are still looking at how the fire started, and they can't imagine fireworks and live ammo or a fire marshal approved combo.
Yeah, couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. So, I'm sure there'll be a lot more coming from that. I'm sure they'll get a knock from the ATF as well, I would imagine, probably,
Yeah.
But, so if you had that on your bingo card, send us some proof in Discord. We'll send you something if you got that, fireworks burned down the yacht and sinks it in the middle of the marina. So, and then obviously, other Pyro News, SkyWars is this week. If you're out there, catch us out there at SkyWars. You'll see us around. we're doing blind pyro, of course, on Friday
We
night.
will be doing blind pyro on Friday
Yeah.
night.
Team Donnie, Team David, hashtag.
Hey, yeah.
You guys are stepping down to blind pyro.
Why not?
Demoted.
That's probably going to be so much fun for you guys. So I was around back in the day, and when we came up with that concept of blind pyro, it's been so much fun over the years. I don't get to the event every year like I used to, but and you know, looking back, it served its purpose exactly as intended.
Yeah.
It was a kind of an icebreaker for people who want to get involved, but they're, you know, I mean, let's face it, the quality of shows you see at SkyWars, it can be pretty intimidating.
Oh, very intimidating.
To put your name in the hat. So it's a great way to jump in with a handful of other people, get some experience, and you know, hopefully it's still what it was a few years ago, and there's a brotherhood of people just willing to share techniques and information and all that stuff like that. And I mean, it'd be neat to go back. I don't know if the data is available, but to find out how many people that participated in blind pyro have gone on to compete in the pro-am or something like that.
Well, and I'm guessing you've heard like they're like doubling the field width next year. I don't know if you've heard that news, Ed.
I heard a little bit about some changes possibly coming.
Yeah, so they're going from what it is now to 850 feet, and it sounds like that will double the capacity of event goers. So
yeah, I wonder how that'll affect setup. You know, from the crowd's perspective, behind the pyros, I don't think they've ever noticed, but I've seen some of the guys out there go through some pretty elaborate measures to try and level that field and build building incrementally high platforms to keep things level going across the field.
What is it, 14-foot difference, Donnie?
I don't know. It's something crazy. I didn't even worry about leveling. I'm like, this isn't worth it. This isn't worth it. You can't.
You don't have a transit is not part of your toolbox.
And
I'd rather blow more product up.
And when you watch the shows, you can't even tell the shows that are leveled versus the shows that aren't leveled, really.
Yeah.
You can't tell much of a difference.
Yeah. As long as the racks are individually leveled, I think that's the biggest thing.
As long as it's not backwards, you're good.
Backwards or the correct audio track is somewhat key. I'm not sure if I agree with it.
Do you think there's back to the pyro news, you think there's a yacht forum somewhere where somebody posted a picture of their crispy yacht, like the pyro, you see on the pyro pages, it posted pictures of their Cobra module that got half melted, and they're crying about that, you know?
Bougie people with their yachts. I've one-upped you. I've burned mine to the ocean.
Burned mine with fireworks, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a scene straight out of the film Battleship. I mean, that's
that should not be funny. Yeah, we got to get some more less depressing news, Donnie.
I mean, hey, that was fun. That was fun. That was fun news. Yeah, see, nobody got hurt. I don't think so.
That's crazy, but.
Let's see here. What else we got coming up for events and stuff, right? We got some more events coming up this year, don't we?
Yeah, you mentioned CobraCon next year.
CobraCon.
That just kind of made me shake my head. I mean, we've got to still get through the end of year events here, then the holidays, and then bam, we're off to the races for the next season already.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast that they're already getting dates out there, so you can block it off in your calendar and everything, and. Yeah, it's crazy how fast everything's moving along. I know I see, Sundowners and all those coming up. We have Winter Blast and Octo Blast is coming up, I think October 5th.
Who is Octo Blast?
So that's a collaboration between the Bluegrass Fest and OPAG.
Okay, one of the Ohio groups. Yeah,
so it's
Have you guys done Winter Blast?
I have not been to Winter Blast.
I have not.
I want to. Piggybacks off of Spring APA, am I correct? Doesn't it? Yeah.
Correct.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not had a chance.
It's usually somewhere around President's Day in February.
Yeah, something along those
I think
lines.
it's usually President's Day weekend. Yeah, because when I lived in Arizona, it was always President's Day weekend, and I lived out there and never even knew what it was until after I left and moved back to Missouri.
Yeah, it's a very unique event. It's for me, it's all about the venue and getting out of Missouri in February, Of course, we can't cry. I mean, David's up in the Arctic Circle, or
No, that's not too bad. I enjoy it.
but you know, to be able to get out there in February and do some pyro stuff and meet new people and see some
Yeah.
different brands
You just
and
do
things
pyro
that you're
here
not
and
normally used to
throw your
seeing.
ice fishing shanty out on the snow and put a heater, and you're fine.
You can just shoot pyro off the ice, right? Get the frozen lake
Yeah.
and just line your show up.
Yeah, why not?
Very low fire
Yeah,
risk.
very low fire risk. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, Ed, we need some rain here in Missouri.
It's
Well, you know, I haven't been here. I'll take your
We
word
haven't.
for it.
I haven't had rain the entire month of September.
we
Looking at the neighbors' lawns, I would say that's pretty accurate on this side of the state
Yeah.
as well, which is crazy because I think it was in July, at least half hour south of St. Louis. I think we had 14 or 16 inches of rain in the month of July
Yeah.
or something like
well,
that.
it's weird
There
how
was no concerns with
Yeah.
fires for 4th
yeah,
of
we were
July
begging for the rain to stop, and now we're begging for rain. We were talking about that at work
Yeah.
today. It's insane. Yeah, it's
Feast or famine.
Yeah. If we don't get some rain, it's going to be a fire city at SkyWars. It's going to be pretty gnarly, I think.
yeah. They've
Oh,
they've
yeah.
implemented fire bans here already. I think it's been
Yeah.
well over a month since we've had rain here. So yeah, I don't know. We're all trying to do the rain dance or something here because it's
I
bad.
remember for our area, Donnie, here in Missouri, though, SkyWars always seemed to be and it didn't matter which weekend it was on, that would be the weekend that the weather seemed to flip.
Yeah,
Yep.
Really from
it
summer
did.
into
Oh, yeah,
fall.
absolutely. Yeah,
It would be the
Ironically-
first time every year that I had to wear a jacket or some weird,
yeah.
just day and a half long nonstop rainstorm would move in, and you get a north wind for the first time, and it's a reminder of things that are coming for the change of the
Yeah,
seasons.
I was just talking to John Mickert about that. It's like the highs next week are 70.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's been almost 90 here. So it's like, yeah, it's probably going to be that way again.
70 for you or at
At
SkyWars?
SkyWars.
At SkyWars, this would be the 70 highs.
High temperatures?
Yeah,
High
70?
temperatures in the 70s.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So bring your jackets.
Yep.
Bring
Yep.
it.
Yeah, for sure.
Hoodies and
That sounds
jackets
like
again.
40s or 50s at night,
Yep.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, even PGI, everybody was trying to buy as many hoodies and jackets as you could because it was so stinking cold and wet.
Even the locals up there were saying that was unseasonably
Yeah.
cold, and it lasted
Yeah.
most of the
It
week.
was the whole
yeah.
yeah.
Whole week. Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was nice for setup in the field. We weren't like drenched in sweat and popping canopies up, but
we're just drenched in rain and mud puddles.
yeah, just drenched in rain.
Now there's a topic we can cover. Did anybody on your crew was anybody successful in catching a ground squirrel?
I don't think anybody caught one. They were everywhere out there, but I don't think anybody ever caught one.
Yeah, they were all
Did-
over. Yeah,
That was just funny. I don't remember who it was when I came out there to get some pictures or something and
Yeah.
talk to you guys. Somebody was chasing something, and I didn't know the story. It was my first time out there, so I didn't know if they were dehydrated and delirious or if there was actually something they were chasing. So that's when somebody filled me in that apparently there was ground squirrels or
Yeah.
chipmunks all over the
They
field
were.
out
yeah,
there.
they were like burrowing under racks. You'd go to lift a rack and it would just like scurry out. It was interesting.
Surprising we're out there eating wires.
Yeah.
What was your fire rate? How many devices did you have not fire?
Only
after the
we
show?
had 2 4-inch shells not fire, and that was it. Yeah, so
Really?
it was literally 99% fire rate. Yeah, we only had
That's
2 4-inch
awesome.
shells. Every Dominator item fired.
Good,
Very
Glad to hear it. That's a really good fire rate. Now, did you use traditional E-match? Did you use initiators? Did you use combination? All the above?
we did not use MJG.
Gotcha.
So no, it was some Chinese imported match that we used.
Were those
Okay.
two shells? Do you think it was like a wire not connected right, or was it human
I'm sure it
error?
probably
or
was.
was it
I'm
just-
probably sure it was a match. By the time I got back there, the matches were already pulled out of them and they were sitting on top
Okay.
of the tube. So
Okay.
I didn't have a chance to check the match on them and see if it was a match or test the match. But
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah,
everything.
Very good. Yeah. I mean,
You just
every
can't
show
help-
you're gonna
yeah.
have something. Yeah, it's just the nature of the beast. Yeah.
Sounds like you had a great crew out there.
I-
Right.
Right.
So
It's a great
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Well, is there anything, Ed, you have for people buying in the 25-26 season? Is it any pointers or anything of that nature?
I don't think so. Every year the sky's falling from a different direction
for sure.
in the industry. I mean, every year there's fewer factories. Matt Roach does a great job of doing an industry update for us every year, and it was presented at a seminar at PGI, and then we did it again at the mid-states event.
Yeah,
another one
there it
they
is.
did
Yeah,
that we
that's what it was.
had too and didn't mention. Yeah, we gave another rundown of that there. So just order early, order often. That's what we recommend to our customers.
Yeah. Very good. All right. I think that's a good way to close it out.
Close it out. Yeah. So again, just get on over.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Thanks.
This has been another episode of Pyro Unleashed. Come back each week for more industry insights, technical tips, and awesome pyro designs. Have fun out there, be safe, and as always, remember to unleash your inner pyro with us.